This case considered the issue of specific performance, and whether or not a purchaser could succeed in their action for specific performance for the purchase of a property, even though they had failed to pay the purchase price by the stipulated date. In this case, a contract was entered into for the sale of land, which made time of the essence in relation to the payment of the purchase price. The purchaser failed to pay the purchase price on the stipulated date, and the vendor issued a notice to comply with the time requirements under the contract. The purchaser had continued to pay interest on the late payment and was seeking finance to pay the purchase price. The purchaser's solicitor had spoken to the vendor's solicitor and informed them that the purchaser was seeking finance, and the vendor's solicitor's secretary indicated that it should be okay, but she would check with the purchaser. They were successful in obtaining finance, but before they could make payment, the vendor rescinded the contract. The purchasers brought an action against the vendors and sought specific performance of the contract, and argued that the purchaser should be stopped from rescinding the contract on the basis of this conversation. They argued that the solicitor's secretary had expressed her expectation that the vendors would agree to extend the time for completion. However, the vendor insisted that time was of the essence and that they had validly rescinded the contract. The central issue for the court was whether or not the contract had been validly rescinded, or if the purchaser could obtain specific performance of the contract. The court ultimately held that the